Welcome to the Opinionated Aussies.
Hello everyone, welcome back to the Opinionated Aussies podcast. Good to know that I'm not getting interrupted before I even start this week.
You're a fuckhead, Adrian.
There it is. Joined once again by Aden and Jordan. My name's Adrian. How we going, fellas? Same old?
Better than I was yesterday, mate. Better than I was yesterday.
And you, big fella?
Same old Adrian, same old.
Same old. And yeah, so we're just going to dive into this one. Last week we touched on it for quite a bit longer than I thought we would, and that is the topic of gun laws. I think we were specifically focusing on America more than anywhere else. We did touch on our own, and this all stemmed from recent mass shootings that have occurred in America. And like we said at the end of the last episode, our prayers and thoughts do go to everyone that's lost someone to these mass shootings, but it needs to be talked, it needs to be addressed, and it needs to be changed. So once again, the floor is open. Who wants to kick this one off?
Alright, I will. So, coming from someone that has had no experience with guns, but grew up in public housing, went to public schools, I can honestly say I have never been fearful of my life in relation to gun violence or, any violence, I guess, for that matter. As someone that grew up, not so much in the hood, but, pretty much in the hood, very, low socio-economic household and shit like that. So, I sort of feel kind of blessed, being in such a country that has such tight and strict gun laws. Speaking to the boys out at work, and a few of them, live on stations and properties and stuff. I think about 3 or 4 people at work actually own guns. Now, they're talking at, 222s, 33s. Whenever they say something about a gun, it goes straight over my head because I don't know shit about them. The only guns I know about are the ones in Call of Duty.
You can throw GTA in there too because you've played that.
Well, that too, but Call of Duty is where you've got your fucking, I don't know whether they're actually like real guns.
They are actually modelled after real guns. Some of them might have different names, sure, but they are modelled after real guns. Yes.
I think the closest thing I've ever shot to a real gun is a fucking gel blaster.
Yeah, I know.
So, I sort of feel blessed and a bit privileged to actually do that. But, the boys out at work, not one of them seem, what's the word psychotic. They don't seem, weird at all to me. And, they go out, shooting, like reshooting or pigging or whatever. They do it as a bit of a hobby. And if you live out on a station or whatever, I can understand having guns for that instance. You're shooting feral, dingoes, feral dogs, feral cats, because you've got your livelihood of your beasts, your beef and your chicken and, pigs and all that sort of stuff. So you want to keep the ferals away from your livelihood. So I can understand that. When it comes to capital cities in Australia, Brisbane, Sydney, Perth, Melbourne, whatever, I don't see the need of anyone in a capital city in Australia to own a gun.
I 100% agree with you on this one. As for exposure to guns in general, I think I'll blow both your minds. I don't know if I've told you this. I have actually shot and fired 2 guns in my life. I'm a shit shot with them, I'll say that up front. But I have shot, reloaded, and used guns. It was at a shooting range when I was growing up.
Yeah.
But
you grew up in the middle of bumfuck nowhere.
I grew up in the middle of bumfuck nowhere. There was not much else to do.
Yeah.
And I only did it twice in my life, and I can tell you now, holding a gun at the age I did, fucking terrifying. That's a lot of power to put into a teenager's hand. And as soon as I was done with it, I think I said to myself, only in the most extreme ever circumstance could I ever see myself ever holding a gun again. I've held true to that to this day. I've not touched a single firearm since. Like you, I've touched gel blasters. I'm still trying to organise something for paintball. But guns, and what's worse, the guns I held, one of them was a pump. I can't remember what one, don't ask me. And a pistol. Again, can't remember, don't fucking ask me. But yeah, they're the only two guns I've held, and I only shot maybe one magazine of both. And yeah, I'm on the same stance as you. I've never felt more safe in anything when it comes to thinking of gun violence. And you, Aden?
Oh, mate, look, I feel as safe as anything. Like, the only thing I'm worried about is these bloody essays stabbing me or something. But in Australia, I feel pretty safe. Obviously, I've never shot a gun, but I've grown up around guns. My granddad had guns. My father had guns. Obviously, living on property, farming, you need guns. But, I've never actually shot a gun. But, yeah, look, I think, as Jordan said, in the cities, there's no need for a gun in Australia. No, absolutely not. In the country, depending on what you're doing out there, then yeah, look, you can justify people owning guns out there because they need it for what they do.
That's very true.
Yeah, that's right. Like, whether it's a hobby and you go, pig hunting or, roo shooting or whatever. I know, being where we are in central Queensland, it's not a big rural town. It's a bit of a mix of a rural and a city town. So a lot of guys here will go out west to Charters Towers or roam out that way, and they will go hunting as a hobby, which I guess is fine because they're still going out to the country to do that, whether that's their hobby or a side hustle or something. But yeah, as for someone that would live in the southeast of Queensland, if you don't live, I guess out past Toowoomba way or something like that, there's no real need for you to own a firearm.
Yeah.
And I know some people will counter argue and say, yeah, but people get stabbed all the time. Yeah, you can die from a stab wound, but it's a lot easier to live from a stab wound than it is from a gunshot. Especially at a point blank range.
Oh yeah, hard for them to miss at point blank. They can aim right between your eyes if they really wanted to.
Yeah, well that's right. But it also comes in my mind as well that when you think of suicide, suicides in America, a lot of people don't cut themselves or whatever. If they've got access to a firearm, they'll shoot themselves in the head and kill themselves. And if you die, if you want to try and kill yourself by hanging yourself or, cutting your wrist or something, you can still pull out of that act if need be. If you cut yourself too deep and you hit a vein and you start bleeding out, you can still wrap it up, call 000 911 and be like, look, I've attempted suicide, I don't want to die, and, you can be saved. Or, you can cut the rope if you're fucking hanging or, put it under you and then you keep yourself from being unalived. You shoot yourself, that's it. There's no coming back from that.
No, that's it. Once you've pulled that trigger, you're done.
Exactly right. There's no rebuttal, I guess, no second chance to try and, bring yourself back.
And on the very rare chance you somehow fuck up, just
I've seen there's a couple of medical pages I follow on Instagram where people will put it like under their chin, and then when they pull the trigger, they sort of go, no, I don't want to do this, and they pull forward. But as they're pulling forward, they pull the trigger and they blow like their jaw and their nose and blow it out. So instead of blowing it back towards your skull, they blow it forwards. So you end up with horrific fucking, facial injuries because you've just blown half your fucking face off.
So, I guess that's a segue to briefly discuss what we did last week, and that was about the school shootings. We've already discussed it. We already have said our opinions on it, which is they shouldn't be happening at the frequency they do. Not just school shootings, mass shootings. I mean, we even said it last week, 288 in less than 6 months. And then the next one underneath it is 8. Like, America's got a problem. And we all know that it's due to the fact that they can buy and own guns for home defense, Second Amendment. And they will, anyone that is an advocate for the right to own a gun will always quote the Second Amendment. And this is, as someone that kind of leans more into the conservative side of American politics, I hate that conservatives are always using the Second Amendment as an excuse to use guns, to be able to keep guns in the system and be this easily accessible. This is someone that is leaning into the right more than the left. So if that's the case, that's a problem. And the fact that they don't see that as a problem is very fucking concerning. I understand the right to defend your home, but there's got to be better ways to go about it than just outright buying a goddamn gun.
Well, I think in Australia, the law, when it comes to defending yourself from a trespass in your own property, is that if someone breaks in and you kill them, it's not in it can't be classed as self-defense. In that act, you were scared, you didn't know what you were doing, whatever the case is. If they come at you with a knife and you stab them before they stab you, that is self-defense. If they come at you with a knife and you shoot them with a gun, that is not self-defense.
No.
Because you're using a known lethal force. So, I get that, but there's also, I guess us in Australia, we've always, well, I don't know about you guys, but, being where I've come from and I've grown up, there's always, a cricket bat by the front door or by the back door. There's always sharp knives and a knife block in the kitchen, so if you do hear a noise outside, you've got something to protect yourself with. If you get close enough to an intruder where you can swing a bat at them, then you pretty much have already lost, in my opinion, because what is stopping them from using the weapon you want to use on them, using it back on yourself. So, I see that. With that being said, we can rave on and on and on about gun violence in America. We can say thoughts and prayers just about every fucking week. But realistically, as 3 intelligent guys in their own right,
thank you, what
can we do to fix the problem? It's all well and good for us to sit here and pull the piss. We're Aussies, that's what we do. So, we can be empathetic to the victims. We can pull the piss on America as a whole. But in our own right, what could we do, or what would we do, hypothetically, to fix the problem?
Do you want to kick this one off, Aden, so you have something to talk about?
No, basically do what Australia did. Well, I mean, this is where it becomes an issue, because the Second Amendment is an issue in America because they stand by it. They don't, like, the government over there, they don't really want to change, in my opinion. It's just, I don't know, it's...
I've got the Second Amendment here. Do you want to hear it?
Sure.
Yeah.
The Second Amendment of the United States Constitution reads, a well-regulated militia being
Do you need help with the word?
Yes, please.
I'll read it.
Necessary?
A well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state. The right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed.
So, reading that, thank you, by the way.
You're welcome.
Reading that, to me, means if the government want to send the military in, I can't remember what the word for that is called.
The military.
Yeah, in like the government want to take over America. You know, like overthrow the people and...
Oh, militia.
Yeah.
Yep.
To bring the military in and, you know, pretty much lock everyone and force everyone in their homes and, you know, blah, blah, blah,
The
blah.
Second Amendment allows them to fight back against that.
Yes, fight back against the government. Not bring an assault rifle to a school.
Yes.
That's what I'm getting from the Second Amendment.
Yeah. So it's basically a way to stop the people in power from
Abusing the power.
abusing their power, which I don't know about you guys, but from the last so many fucking years watching America, I feel like they do that anyway. That's just me though. I don't have examples to give because it's not part of the topic for today. But I feel like they do that anyway, and they're not using this. And if that's what the Second Amendment's for, it's not being used for that. It's literally being used as a scapegoat, so that they can literally hold a firearm. And like I said to you, the feeling of holding a gun, the power you feel behind it, they want that. Some of them go mad with it. So that ends up in, as we know, attributing to this massive number that we read last week.
But anyway, back to question.
Back to you, Aden.
Well, I just want to say, I think we all know about Jim Jeffries and his rant on gun control. If you don't know who Jim Jeffries is, he's an amazing Australian comedian. So this is one of his quotes. He quoted the Americans saying, "You cannot change the Second Amendment." And his quote to that was, "Yes, you can. It's called an amendment." That was that's one of the best things he said, in my opinion.
You took the words right out of my mouth.
At least that was the only thing he took out of your mouth.
Oh, he took his cock out this morning, but that was about it.
Yeah. Yeah, but no, Jim Jeffries as a comedian, that's not something that I see as funny. That's something I see as absolute truth.
Well, I think I said it in the last episode of the podcast. And it was a joke that Jim Jeffries made. It was Australia had the biggest mass shooting, and I think it was only like 14 people died. That was the Port Arthur massacre in Tasmania. The Sandy Hook massacre happened, 2020 I think it was. I think it was 2020 or 2019. And America's gone, no more big guns. Australia had a massacre and we said no guns at all.
Yeah, and the Australians came in and said, "You know what, that's fair enough."
Yeah. And, obviously I fucked that joke up. But to me, that reads true. It's, Australia's gone, no more fucking guns. You need to be, fit in their head to own a gun. You can't, if you're schizophrenic, you'll never own a fucking gun. If you're got mental illnesses, you can't own a gun. But
To quickly point out, the Sandy Hook, that's 2012.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Further back than I thought. I thought you were pretty close. No, you bit off. So mental illness, how loco do we have to be, though, to not have the right to own a gun, do we think? How crazy?
I don't think with my mental health diagnoses,
Yours specifically?
me specifically, I don't think I would get a firearms license.
I reckon no. Because me and Aiden both know what you've got.
Yeah.
I think me and Aiden would both agree.
With
no.
a history of anxiety and depression.
And suicidal thoughts as well.
Yes. I don't ever see myself getting a firearms license.
So what about ones that are prone to... Obviously, if you're prone to psychotic episodes, don't own a fucking gun.
Yeah.
But that begs the question. Sorry, I'm trying not to burp at the same time. What is appropriate to you? How clear do you have to be? There's a limit. Because yours is kind of not on the extreme end, but you're nowhere near in the clear. And then, like I said, psychotic episodes, you're fucking nowhere near the clear. You're at the deep end where it's like, no. But what do you count as in the clear to own a gun? Do we have an elaboration, a clarification?
Someone with no history of trauma, someone with no history of mental illnesses, someone that is not prone to anger, you know. But then the regulations we have in Australia are vastly different to America. I know in Australia you need to actually have a license, and you're only allowed to carry said firearm for said license. So if you've got a pistol license and you've got a fucking shotgun or something, you're not allowed to have that.
No.
With firearms, you have to keep your cabinet hidden and locked. No one else is to know the combination or pin to that cabinet. But you also need to keep your ammunition separate in a separate cabinet locked.
Yeah.
So if someone does find your ammunition cabinet, they can't find your firearm.
And vice versa.
Yeah. So I know if, husband and wife, if a husband's got a firearm license, he's only to know the combination to the safe that carries them. If they ask the wife and she does open it, then
he's breach.
Yes, he revokes the gun license, and I don't think he's allowed to ever get one again.
No.
But then with that too, I think it's a massive fine and or imprisonment.
I believe it's imprisonment.
I don't know.
I believe if she knows, she gets hit with the fine and he gets hit with imprisonment.
No,
I can't remember. It's been years since I've done research into Australian gun laws, but it does sound something similar to what I do remember. So,
but yeah, then if we wanted to try and talk about fixing the problem in America, you can take them off the market. That's fine. But if you set a date and say July 1st of 2022 in America, no more guns will be sold.
Oh, you bet your ass they'll fucking buy them out as fast as possible.
Exactly right. So
and then they'll resell them again, which will create another problem.
Well, yes, you're talking about black market. But with that, Jim Jeffries, like Aden said before, I remember watching that stand-up, and he was saying, say for argument's sake, it's a 30-30, right? In Australia, on the black market, that 30-30 will cost you $30,000. In America, it costs you $1,000. Or, $100, whatever it is to buy a fucking gun in America. So, only those who can afford to just drop 30 grand on a firearm will. Not a lot of people will do that.
You'll be hard put to find people these days spending 30 grand on a car. Why would you spend it on a firearm? And keep in mind as well, the firearm, you'd have to also buy the ammunition for it.
Yeah.
You won't get ammunition with it.
Yeah, well, that's right.
So unless you just want it there on the wall to look pretty and just tell people it's fake when you know for a fact it's real. And what? You'd spend 30 grand on a novelty, basically.
Yeah.
Bruh, come on. There's better things to spend 30 grand on.
But, how can we stop the problem? That's the thing.
I know. You got to remember, we're dealing with a country where their Second Amendment, as we pointed out, it's an amendment. It can change. But we got to remember as well that they don't want to. So we need to figure out how would you fix the problem while keeping in mind what they want. Because obviously there's only the minority that are causing these issues, but the minority that's causing the issues is making massive problems. and it's causing many loss of life.
I'm glad you said that, because I didn't give a fuck whether it's the minority or the majority or fucking 99% of the population.
It's still a
One
problem.
life is too many.
Yes.
One life is too many, let alone, you know, countless thousands of lives in 200 and fucking whatever shootings. You know, it's unfathomable. Something needs to fucking change.
That's why I'm pointing out.
You know, I honestly think strip all the fucking Walmarts and fucking gun stores of guns, do a gun buyback, and if you want to keep your firearm, you go under an evaluation for you to keep that firearm. Not for fucking personal fucking safety. But, you know, that also begs the question of what about the gangs in America? The Bloods, the Crips, the fucking whatever. They won't give their guns back.
No fucking way they would. No
But
way.
gun-related violence, in my mind, they're only shooting at Bloods and Crips. They're not shooting up schools.
Does that make it okay?
No, it doesn't. But if you take the hands out of the majority of people, you're left with the criminals. Then you can work with that and go, okay, only the Bloods and Crips. They're going to shoot at each other. They're not going to, you know, kill other innocent people. So you can work or filter would be the best way to put it. Filter your way through the masses. So if you take the majority off the street, yeah, people are going to jump up and down, and you're going to get your fucking 64-year-old conservative, my fucking rights. Yeah, but does your right trump someone else's right to live? That is my, that is my whole argument and my whole point.
Yeah.
Is
Just
does
before
your,
we go,
Yeah.
I was just going to say, just before we go too far away from, I just want to quote some of these Jim Jeffrey things because they're really, really good. Like, obviously the one we were talking about before, he says, in Australia we had the biggest massacre on earth, and the Australian government went, that's it, no more guns. And we all went, yeah, all right, that seems fair enough. Now, in America, you had Sandy Hook massacre where tiny little children died, and your government went, maybe we'll get rid of the big guns, and 50% of you went, fuck you, don't take my guns. So that's it. That's how it happens.
Yeah.
And then he continues to say, Americans argue that it's to keep their family safe. So he says, you have guns because you like guns. That's why you go to gun conventions. That's why you read gun magazines. None of you give a shit about home security. None of you go to home security conventions. None of you read Padlock Monthly. None of you have a Facebook picture of you behind a secure door. And he makes good points there. Really good points.
Sorry, Ad, I'm trying not to fucking laugh, hey.
Mate, it's brilliant.
It's
like,
I understand the point behind it, don't get me wrong, Aiden, but I'm just imagining Jim Jeffrey saying that and just how he's saying it. But yeah, keep going.
Yeah.
because then he goes on to say that him and his wife were, someone broke into their house or their unit in America, and they threatened to beat up and rape his girlfriend. And, people were like, well, if you had a gun, that wouldn't have happened. And he goes, well, I was naked at the time and I wasn't wearing my holster. He then he goes, how exactly would a gun have protected me?
The fucking hell. Fucking hell.
But he does have good points.
Yeah.
And I'll agree with you on this. Like, going through an evaluation, like, I reckon not just an evaluation, like, it has to be a full psyche evaluation. Full on, you're getting tested to see if you have any of these mental illnesses that could possibly lead to endangering other people's lives. Then you go through and state your reason to owning the gun. And if it's in self-defense, then you need to basically do what we do here in Australia, which is the gun's kept in one safe, the ammo's kept in another, both have separate pins, you're the only one that has access to it. and that's it. Because you're the one that bought it. It's your right. Yeah, I feel like applying some of our own stuff to them, while still trying to keep it like accessible, I guess, is what I'm trying to go with. Because that's their thing. They don't want it to be not accessible. Because they're all fucking gun-ho over there.
What's his name? You know the MTV show Catfish?
Yeah, okay, go on.
Aden?
Yeah, I know it.
Yeah. Right? I'll fucking...
How exactly is the show Catfish?
The what's her name? The fucking host?
Yeah.
Nev Schulman, right? You guys might not take to this, but I fucking went, this is fucking great. And I quote, this is what he said. How about we treat every young man who wants to buy a gun like a woman who wants to get an abortion? Mandatory 48-hour waiting period, parental permission, a note from his doctor providing he understands what he's about to do, a video he has to watch about the effects of gun violence, and an ultrasound wand up his ass just because. Let's close down all but one gun shop in every state and make him travel hundreds of miles, take time off work, stay overnight in a strange town to get a gun. Make him walk through a gauntlet of people holding photos of loved ones who were shot to death, people who call him a murderer and beg him not to buy a gun. It makes more sense to do this with young men and guns than women in healthcare, right? I mean, no woman getting an abortion has killed a room full of people in seconds.
I agree with that 100%.
Fucking nailed it, mate.
Like, to me, as just under middle-aged straight white man, I don't fully understand the abortion Roe versus Wade. We can touch on that later on, but to make someone jump through so many fucking hoops to get a gun will deter so many fucking people.
Yep.
So many people. And if we can do that to make people go, oh, maybe is it really worth getting a gun? Oh, no, maybe not, because I've got to drive fucking 100 miles and jump through fucking all this bullshit to get a gun. That could, you know, if it saves one life, just that one set of rules, still have your right to bear arms, but make it fucking hard for them. If that saves one life, then that job is done, because that one life is still here on Earth.
100%. Yeah, no, I got nothing to add to that one, actually.
No, he hit the fucking nail straight on the head.
Fucking, straight on the head.
Because I actually heard that, he's got a TikTok, and I saw it on TikTok, and I'm like, yeah, right, okay. I thought, a bit passive-aggressive, but I thought, no, well, in another sense, he's fucking...
Got a good fucking point.
He's got a good point.
Well, I'm all for abortion. I if a woman wants to get an abortion, she should have every right to. But I find it funny that the Americans are all, or the ones that the pro-lifers are the ones that are like, we want our gun laws. So it's all right for people to kill hundreds of people, but for one woman that's been raped or that something's happened and she needs to get rid of this baby, she can't do that because you're pro-life. Like I just find that really bullshit.
It does sound very contradictory, doesn't it? It's like you can't get rid of this unborn baby, but we can shoot it when it's 8 years old.
That's
exactly.
It's just. I'm no smart cunt at all. I'm not fucking smart at all.
Oh, stop putting yourself down.
Shut the fuck up. But that to me just doesn't make sense. It really doesn't.
No, it's like you know what it is. It's not just contradictory. It's something we haven't even discussed on this podcast yet, but we plan to. Double standard. It is a massive double standard because at the end of the day, both of these things involve a life lost to a degree. So why should you be pro for one and not the other? If you're going to be pro for one, you should just be pro for both. If you don't support one, don't support the other one. So if you're someone that's like, oh, don't do abortions, but you're an advocate for guns, you're a fucking loon, mate. Seriously, stop and think. For just a second. If you are willing to take the life of an unborn child, right? Why should people, like... I was going somewhere with that and I just lost it. If you're not willing to take the life of an unborn child... Where am I going with this? Help me.
What gives you the right to take an 8-year-old's life?
Yeah, thank you. I don't know why I'm having such a brain fart with that sentence, eh? It just... Oh, he left that train and he was gone.
You're trying to say it in a... as empathetic as you can, but it just wasn't commuting.
Yeah, not empathetic. Fuck you all.
Yeah, I understand the message you're trying to get across, which is fine. When it comes to gun control, I think, like with everything in life, it's all good in proportions.
Yes, 100%.
You know, if you, like we said before, if you need a gun to protect your farm, you know, just say you've got like 100 hectares of cattle and, you know, you want to protect it, yes, have your gun in your safes and shit like that. So that way, if you need to go kill something that will potentially harm your livestock, then you can do that.
But at the end of the day, it's not just for farmers. It's not just protecting livestock. It's also, if you say you've got a bull that's fucking broken its leg, you shoot it. You take it down the back and you shoot it.
Yeah. Well, that's right. You know, you do the same with, you know, horses and stuff that have broken legs.
That's right. Exactly right.
You know, there's a what's the word? My granddad used to say it to me all the time. You know, if you're putting into like a vegetative state as a human, you know, you're a vegetable, you put in a coma, you know, induced coma, blah blah blah. And you know, it's dying with a bit of dignity. Dying like a dog is the old saying. Is I'd rather die like a dog. If I get sick and put into a vegetative state, said that right, put a bullet to my head. You know, not in a literal sense, but in a metaphorical sense. With a dog, yeah, you could do that in a literal sense, but you could, you know, if you're, I'm still going to use the country. If you're out on the country, and your dog's like that, you would just put a bullet in its head. You know, you wouldn't take it to the vet to be euthanized.
No.
You would make, you know, that dog's last day its best day of its life. In the city, however, though, we're a bit more, what's the word? Privileged. We do have vets that we can take them to. But yes, and you're 100% right. If you've got an old bull there, or, you know, a young calf, for instance, that's born with a birth defect that could fuck it up for its whole life, you know, you could just, you know, instead of a whole lifetime of pain and suffering, you just put it down then and there. So, you know, I can understand that side of things. As for, you know, I'm going to talk back to America. You can't take the guns out of the hands of the criminals. If someone's, you know, a criminal and they're going to want to shoot the Bloods or the Crips, they're going to do that. So, you know, that's where I still think filtering out from the masses, you know, all the law-abiding citizens that literally have a gun just in case. If you, say for instance, take fucking 80% of all guns from America from the masses, from people with the Second Amendment rights and shit like that, and take it out of them hands, then a lot of people are going to live, but you will obviously have crossfire with gangs and all that sort of shit. But when you look at gang-related violence, I don't think the death toll is there versus mass shootings.
It's really not, because I don't have the statistics to pull from for this one. I'm pretty sure either you or Aden is currently researching the difference. But as you stated earlier, all it takes is literally like a second decision. 1 second decision. To go into a room and just let loose with whatever weapon you've got. And you could end... Like Sandy Hook, that was 26 lives lost. So... Yeah, it is a fucking mind-boggling number. When you keep in mind that there is over 280 mass shootings in America. Before June of 2022. How many of those are in the double digits of lives lost? We're looking at potential thousands of people who have lost their lives this year alone to gun violence in America. And that's not including people who have died at the hands of criminals. Like Bloods and Crips. These are just people that grabbed their guns and just went somewhere and just let it rip. Probably didn't have criminal history before it. So, do you want to add, Aden?
So, I'm in pewresearch.org, which is an American site.
Yep.
How many people die from gun-related injuries in the US per year? Suicides account for more than half of the US gun deaths in 2020. 43% to murder, 54% to suicide. Note, other, which is 3%. Other includes deaths that were unintentional, involved law enforcement, or had undetermined circumstances. Source, the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, the CDC. So, in that other is police, but also unintentional deaths. So, some fucking redneck hillbilly fucking yeehaw motherfucker is cleaning his gun and actually fucking shoots himself to death. Or, even worse, he does that and shoots his fucking child to death. You know, that's just the sort of stupidity that is there. That's 3% of all gun-related deaths in the US. In 2020, the most recent year for which complete data is available, 45,222 people died from gun-related injuries in the US, according to the CDC.
How many?
45,222 in 2020, when coronavirus hit and everyone was supposed to be on lockdown inside their homes.
Fuck. That's
like fucking hell.
fucking. I don't think it needs to be said, but it needs to be said. America, pull your fucking heads in. That's not even taking the piss. That's 45,000 lives lost in an era of a pandemic. What the actual fuck is wrong with yous over there? The Second Amendment needs to change. It's why it's called an amendment. I'm not even sure I'm saying it right. I don't care. Aden, do you want to add while I'm digesting this information? Fuck me, dude.
I'm just doing some bloody research here, just trying to I found one thing on here. So Norway and Finland have similar levels of gun ownership than the US, but far less gun crime. Like, that's crazy.
Where did you say Norway and Finland?
Norway and Finland, yeah.
Wow.
So, wait, does that mean it's only Americans that are, and this is as blunt as I can put it, fucked in the head, that just feel the need to commit these mass shootings? Is it just Americans? Is Americans really the most dangerous populace in the world?
I don't know.
But
well, when it comes to guns, maybe. But America is the most dangerous.
With the statistics you've just given us, I don't think it's a maybe.
I don't know if we know the whole story. You think of countries, I don't know if Brazil's a country or a city, but
Brazil is a country.
yeah, well, you look at like South America and Brazil and all that sort of stuff, where you've got all the slums, all the drug cartels and blah, all that sort of shit, right? I don't know if they would beat America in relation to gun related deaths, just because a lot of the shootings would go unreported in those lower countries. Where they wouldn't have the statistics to back up what's happened.
I'm fucking... Yeah. I still think that with the statistics available to us, it just proves that Americans are the most dangerous people in the world. But, I don't know.
Well, then you got people like, I can't remember that name, she's a fucking far right-wing conservative, whore looking bitch, but she went to her prom, is that what they call it? The graduation? Yeah, she went to her prom with an AK strapped to her back. I can't remember her name, but she was like young fucking conservatives for America, part of that group. And I'm just like,
what
you
the fuck?
Fucking serious?
I've got statistics of my own here for yous from 2019. Right?
Yeah.
Gun-related deaths are tragically common. In 2019 alone, more than 250,000 people died as a result of firearms worldwide. 71% of gun deaths were homicides, while 21% were suicides, and 8% were unintentional firearms-related accidents. Right? So, these are the statistics of the highest total gun deaths of all causes in 2019 per country. The top 8. Brazil is number 1.
Yeah.
But America's right underneath it.
Yeah. Well, what's the difference between numbers?
That's where the big numbers are. Brazil had nearly 50,000. So 436, sorry. America, that was a pretty good year for them. 37,038. Which begs the question, what happened in 2019 to 2020? We've already said it.
It was 47,000 in 2020.
The pandemic. I have a feeling we might have just cracked why that number is so high.
And people staying in their homes getting stir crazy. Yeah, but we're in 2022 now. That's the thing.
It's still going.
Yeah, I know, but you would surely think the 2020 statistic that I pulled up, a lot of that, if people were going stir crazy and blah blah blah, was all in the last 6 months of the year. Most of that would have been in the last 6 months of the year.
Mm-hmm.
To go, that's such a jump.
It is. It's a fucking scary jump. That whole side of the world's just fucking crazy. Let's just leave it at that.
Yeah.
I feel safe here in my little Australian bubble where I don't have access to guns as easy as any other country in the world. Oh. Did we want to add anything else?
So I've just found an article that pretty much sums up what Jordan was saying before about making it difficult it basically says 6 real ways we can reduce gun violence in America. One of them is buying a gun should be like buying a car. Now, it says here, for the most part, it is much easier to be a legal gun owner in America than it is to be a legal driver. Like, that's ridiculous.
Wow.
Going down, it says pass gun laws that actually reduce gun violence. Then you've got doctors can help reduce gun violence, let them. So that's another thing Jordan was saying. Like, we need doctors to assess people before they're able to get guns. Then we've got 4, invest in smart gun technology. 5 is eliminate funding restrictions on gun violence research. And 6, end legal immunity for gun manufacturers.
Yeah, right. That last point, though, it goes back to the quote-unquote day-old question. Do guns kill people or people kill people?
That's right. That's exactly what I was thinking before. Like, guns don't kill people. People kill people.
That's right, but you take guns out of the hands of people that kill people, then people won't kill people.
Well, you're right. It's going to be drastically less.
That's right. You know, instead of getting shot, they'll get stabbed.
That's right. You just literally took the words right out of my mouth. They're going to find other ways to kill people. But it's still going to drastically reduce the number of deaths in America.
Yeah, exactly right. You know, like I said, we can all sit here and, you know, be Aussies and poke fun at America, which, you know, we do. We always will. You know, there's a saying here in Australia, and we say it all the time, and it is, at least we are not America.
At least. I wouldn't want to be an American.
Well, no. But then, you know, my other sort of side of thing, to me, just goes, I feel so sorry for the law-abiding citizens in America, and, you know, all this shit this sort of shit happens to people. It just doesn't seem, you know, I want to cry because of them, you know. It's so disheartening to hear, to see. You know, just imagine what all their families are going through. And, you know, it's not just one family at one time. You know, it's multiple families. And it's all the fucking time. You know, I say for a lot of us, enough is enough. You know...
I don't think you speak on behalf of just Australians. Sounds like you're speaking on behalf of anyone in the world.
Majority of the world at the moment, sick. Yeah.
And it's probably, I'm pretty sure you can say it's not just for America. Just this gun violence shit. Why does it need to keep happening? We keep getting teased day after day of another world war. It's been getting very prominent this year. It's been getting very fucking scary.
With Russia invading Ukraine.
Yeah, and pretty much everything else. We won't get into that, but with all that, yet you still have the goal to grab your gun out, find a populated area, and just go to town? Are you fucking stupid? Are you that messed up in the head that you have to take lives? What's your reason?
Yeah.
What do you hate about your own people? This could be where your own fucking kid goes to school. Could be the school you went to. What caused you to do this?
I know a lot of people will, you know, come out and say bullying, which...
someone who's been bullied, pull your fucking head in.
It doesn't... Yes, it can drive you to that point.
But it doesn't... But the ends don't justify the means.
Well, that's right. But, you know, for whatever reason, if you were given a gun at year 8 when you were getting bullied relentless by, you know, whatever, you know, you'd walk in and want to shoot the cunts too. If you had access to a firearm at year 8, you probably fucking would have.
But I wouldn't have killed everyone else in the room.
Well, no, but...
I would have specifically targeted the one kid that gave me fucking hell.
Yeah.
But, in saying that...
That's an eye for an eye.
And let me get to the point though. What I'm saying is they're not going for these individuals. They're going for people that they probably don't even fucking know. And they're just going to town.
But that's also what I'm saying, if you don't know the situation. If I'm not going to say a whole class is going to pick on one student, that's a bit far-fetched. But, you know, if majority of people, you know, if you witness someone being bullied and you don't step up and say something, in my eyes, you're just as bad as the bully. Mm-hmm. You know, if you witness something wrong, talking high school age here or fucking whatever they call it, elementary and fucking middle school in America.
Even young adults new to the workplace can fall into this as well.
Yeah, that's right. If you witness someone being bullied, and especially you think it's going to drive them to that point, and maybe you don't do something,
maybe step in and help.
Exactly right. That's, I'm not a fucking hippie by any means, but can't we all just chill out and just love one another?
We're
not in a physical sense, in a metaphorical sense.
See, that there's the problem though. We can't bring ourselves to. But that doesn't mean we should be killing each other.
Why the fuck not?
Well, I don't fucking love it. I'm kidding. You understand what I mean. It's very difficult for us to just go out there and be like, have a blessed day to just some random person who didn't even say boo to you. You can't do that. Because they'll look at you and they'll fucking call you all sorts of retard under the sun. Essentially wasting your time and making you feel like that, you've wanted to love everyone, but then that person does that, you're like, everyone except you. Imagine that happened an entire day. You'd hate everyone by the end of the day.
That's your view on it, though. That's the thing. Mate, I watch Vic. He's a barber in America. He'll walk up...
Vic.
Yeah, Aden knows Vic.
Yeah, Vic blends.
Yeah, mate, you watch a couple of his videos. He will walk up to 10 people and they will tell him to fuck off and throw a bit of abuse at him. He goes, mate, I'm a barber, come give you a free haircut. Sits them down and talks about life with them. He does it to a little kid. His mum's sitting right there. Do you mind if I give your son a cut? Cut to son, what do you want to be when you grow up? What's the most important thing in the world right now? Spread that positivity and a bit of love. If we showed that on the fucking news and on TVs as much as we showed all the fucking violence and shit, if we showed a bit more love to anyone and everyone in the world would be a better place. You got to change people's mindset from fucking, oh, woe is me and why me, to let's be grateful that I'm 6 feet of fucking above the ground because 14 fucking people died last week. They don't get to see their fucking 12th birthday, 18th birthday, 21st birthday. That's why you say have a blessed day. Because you got to spread a bit of fucking love and positivity. Because if you don't, you're just as miserable as the fucking next cunt next to you. You got to rise up and be the better person. Be the bigger person. Spread a bit of love. That's how you view the world, man. You can't... If you think the world is all doom and gloom and the fucking world hates you and the whole world's against you, you're always going to think like that. If you think and wake up one day and you look yourself in the mirror and you say, I'm going to be the best person I fucking can be, your whole mindset for that day will change. If you look up in the mirror and you wake up and you smile and you say, I'm fucking powerful, I'm beautiful, I'm blessed, I'm strong, and you say that as positive affirmation all day, you'll have the best day you've ever fucking had. But if you wake up tired and I'm fucking tired, I'm depressed, I'm grumpy, I want to kill myself, there's nothing worth living for, mate, you're going to want to go back to bed. And that's where you're going to stay.
Very true.
If we spread a little bit of love and positivity around, especially on, streaming services, on fucking running ads, on TV, if we spread a bit of fucking love, we could change the world. I'm sorry for that tangent, but fuck, it had to be said.
I think that's as good a place as any to call it, actually.
Aiden, you got anything?
No, not really. You pretty much summed it all up. I just like that little Vic Blends one. Man, he's so good. I'm addicted to his content.
Oh, fucking oath, man. I fucking love it. I'll scroll on Instagram, and if I missed like a video or two, I'll go back to the last one that I seen and just watch all the new ones. It gives you such a positive, better outlook on life. You don't necessarily have to go to the gym every day. You don't necessarily have to fucking eat healthy every day. It fucking helps, but if you spread a bit of positivity, a bit of love to yourself, you'll radiate that to anyone and everyone around you.
Yeah,
So-
well, I've got nothing left to add to that. In terms of all these gun law stuff, though, I think we don't really need to add anything else that we've already said as well.
No, to summarise for America, I speak for a lot of people when I say something needs to be changed.
We've put forward enough opinions and ideas about it,
That's right.
and
I hope something happens. I fucking fingers and toes crossed, something gets put forward and something changes.
especially when you keep in mind that, a lot of these people that can change these laws, these amendments, they got to remember that, their kids, grandkids, great-grandkids, they're the ones that could potentially be at the other end of the barrel if they don't do something now.
Exactly right.
I don't know what I'd do if I was to come home from work one day to find out that our old high school got shut up and Devon was dead. If I found that out, I'd probably be a mess and I'd probably be right behind him. Don't want to imagine that. And that's my brother. I don't want to imagine if it was my own kid. I'd probably be worse. I don't even want to imagine what those parents right now are thinking. And I was going to say it in the last episode, but the most recent shooting, the teacher that died, her partner died not long afterwards of a heart attack.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he couldn't go on. So technically this mass shooting that just happened didn't take just 14, it took 15 lives. With one being a casualty of the effects. Let's just keep that in mind for just a second.
And we've got to also think like that's one that's been reported, but how do we know that more people after that haven't had heart attacks or haven't done that? Like we don't know.
Yeah, well, just imagine, you're a single parent. Your child's all you had. They get taken in a mass shooting. You're going to kill yourself the next week.
If not that same day.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, you're going to want to bury your child, which no parents, no parent should ever have to do.
Never.
No parent should ever have to bury their child. So,
I think we're going to leave it there, guys.
yeah.
I think that's enough morbidity for one day.
America, I think I speak for the three of us when I say, our hearts are with you guys there. I'm not going to say stay strong because it's not going to work, but...
It's not going to work. There's only so many times we can say it.
Yeah, but our hearts go out to all the affected families in America, definitely.
And to the American government. I think...
Please fucking do something.
I was going to say pull your head in. I don't know if that's appropriate here. But
just do something.
Fucking do something. And Aden, you got anything to add to that at all?
No, I think you guys have summed it up pretty well.
And with that, that's been the three of us this week.
Thanks for coming on, Aden. Appreciate your time. I know we ran over time a little bit, but
Yeah.
I appreciate you coming. It's fucking good to have you back, mate.
As always, you can find all our social media links down below in the description. If you have anything you want to add to this, to continue the conversation, you can always find our Instagram page where you can DM us or whatever. And
if you've got a topic for weekly idea that you want us to cover,
please
let us know. Send us a DM.
We are pretty much now taking suggestions and working off of that.
Yeah, I want to try and interact with the listeners a bit more, so I'm going to start doing polls and stuff up on Instagram and, get your thoughts and ideas. And, yeah, if you want to answer the questions and stuff on Instagram stories, it'd be much appreciated.
And with that, that's been us on gun laws.
Yep.
We hope you have a good day, a blessed day, even.
There you go.
Look after yourselves, and we'll see you all next week.
See ya.
See ya.